We're hearing another coal company is going bankrupt as the others are down, way down under this administration. Chris Horner says the White House is making matters even worse. Chris, it's hard to imagine them making it worse for coal companies, but certainly energy companies in general. Listen, candidate Obama said this was going to happen, and it's happened, but I don't think anyone thought it would be this bad.
Well, I don't know. Remember, there are three ways he's killing jobs, and it's also killing people, because the cost of energy is embedded in everything. He promised it was going to be like Europe, where we saw the opportunity cost, Spain, 2.2 jobs lost because of the wealth that was transferred to uneconomic, politically selected interests, what would have been done with it with the private sector. Obviously, the industries he vowed to bankrupt, like coal, and the communities surrounding them, and of course, scaring off foreign investment. So it was predictable. In fact, it was widely predicted. It was not only likely, but it was inevitable, because he told us to look to Europe. When we did and exposed these things, he just stopped giving that speech, Charles, but he's pushing the policies harder. So let me just point something out that's far worse than 2.2 jobs in Spain. They're killing tens of thousands of seniors every year with these policies, according just to headlines in the UK. Tens of thousands of the most vulnerable dying from energy poverty, freezing in their flats from hypothermia, and now it's being promoted in the name of protecting the most vulnerable, after having admitted it will have no impact on the climate when it's in the name of the climate. It actually can get a lot worse. They're killing people, not computer model deaths, real people.
Right, yeah. So President Obama says they necessarily have to go higher. We've got an actual casualty count, to your point, tens of thousands. I have not heard that number before, but it makes sense. Every winter we hear of these stories where elderly Americans who can't afford their heating bills have died, and now, of course, with electricity through the roof, that's going to probably happen here and more in America.
Let me tell you something. If you go to, you can see the headlines at eelegal.org, and you'll see pensioners burn books to stay alive at night. And bookstore employees saying, look, burning books seems wrong, but the seniors want to stay alive. They really like the thick hardbound copies. They have numbers given, 31,000 plus in 2012-13, then 40-something in additional excess winter deaths from freezing, half of those from freezing in your flats. Why? They have priced energy out of the reach of people. We would know that as necessarily skyrocketing. This was, again, predictable. He simply stopped telling us to look to Europe. Please look to Europe. And while you're at it, if you know any of the Pope's advisors, tell him to look to Europe, too. They're actually killing more than jobs. They're killing people. And it's the people they're supposedly seeking to protect. No climate impact in killing people.
Before we go, Chris, the White House would counter with these enormous numbers of, to your point, computer-generated lives that they're saving through these odd metrics that they use to determine, from dust particles to protecting ponds to protecting even little bitty water, pockets of water on your driveway, that somehow they connect that to saving hundreds of thousands of lives. Where's the fallacy there?
Right, different rules. What we caught them saying was they acknowledged, I got emails using the Freedom of Information Act in which they said, look, climate is an increasingly or persistently unpersuasive case to make. We need to shift to make it about asthma. It's not about asthma. They admit there is no detectable impact on climate. So I just want to ask, what's the proper number of seniors to kill for no impact on climate? If you give me the number, we can have the discussion, or the proper amount to spend for no impact on climate, which, by the way, is killing people. That's the proper response.
Chris Horner, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.